and we are kicking it off with one of my favorite topics today, education. So our topic is, let me see, where is it? Being able to, nope, that's not the one. Ready whenever you are.
Take one.
Hi, and welcome to Black in Business, where the possibilities are limitless. I'm your host, Eunice.
And I'm Miss G.
Today's topic is all about having multiple college degrees, but no success and no business ownership. I want to kick it to Miss G. But it's going to be a little bit free flow today. I don't know how we're going to do this.
Listen, I can start it off because I'm going to kick it right back to you. Okay, so let's talk about basically having degrees or multiple degrees and not having anything to show for it is how I would word it. I think that it's a lot of companies nowadays that require you to have, let's say, a bachelor's degree or a specific degree before they will even give you an entry-level job, which is mind-boggling to me because a lot of jobs you can do without an actual degree. And oftentimes the person that is in a higher position, they don't have the educational background or they don't have the qualifications to have their position, but yet they're the ones calling the shots. So I really feel like it's hypocritical to tell someone to get an entry-level job, they need to have a 4-year degree or higher just to do clerical work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like that's necessary. It's not realistic. It's not something that you need a lot of brain power to accomplish. Every job trains you. So I think a prime example of not being qualified is the current president that we have. He has the highest office in the United States, but yet he's not qualified to be there. But he is. So I feel like that's a good it's a good example of the American standards, I'll say, and how on one hand they want you to be qualified to get a job that is going to take you maybe 2 or 3 weeks to learn, where you really don't need a degree, and then you have this job that's like the top of the top of the top, and you should have multiple degrees, all the experience. You should be well versed in communications, in people skills, in being humble, in so many things, right? In order for you to run the country. He possesses none of those, and he's running the country. So I find that really, really ironic. But I will say that because you are trained in every job, I do feel like some jobs, like doctors, you need a degree. You getting trained is not enough. Like you need to learn where you're supposed to be cutting and where you're not, right? You need to learn what medications are for what. You need a specific degree for that. But most entry-level jobs, they're not that technical, if that makes sense. And then the fact that you getting a bachelor's degree does not guarantee you a job, I find it very disheartening because the way I was raised is you go to school to graduate high school, go to college, get a degree, and get that good job. And a lot of people were taught that when you get that degree, it's going to result in you getting a good job. Today, you can talk to thousands, if not millions, of people who have degrees and don't have that good job or have never found that good job. So I feel like, what does a degree really guarantee you? No college has ever told someone that when I give you this piece of paper, I can guarantee you'll be making $70,000 next year, because they can't guarantee you that. Even if you were at the top of your class and your GPA is as high as it can be, they can't guarantee you a job. After you put in all this work, you've written all these 30-page papers, you've done a thesis on every topic you can think of, you've stayed up countless nights, drunk plenty of energy drinks, lived off of ramen noodles and pizza for several months. Like you've gone through all of this, what I call trauma, right? Attached to you passing these classes because you were taught that it's imperative that you pass these classes. It's imperative that you get this degree. But then once you get to the end of it, what is the ultimate prize? You don't get a medal, a trophy, whatever case. At the end, you get a piece of paper that says, okay, you successfully executed for these maybe 4+ years, but monetarily, how does that show up? So I feel like it's not fair. I feel like to put all of that pressure on a person and starting from a young age, make people feel like that the only way they're going to succeed is to get a college degree and get a quote unquote good job working for someone else. I feel like it's not right because you can't guarantee that they're going to get a good job. You can't guarantee that they're going to work for someone that cares for them, or they're going to work for a company that is actually going to invest in them and make them a better person, or cares about their life and cares about their character, and who they become, or if they have children and their children's well-being. Like you can't guarantee any of that. So I feel like the importance that's put on a college degree is not really equivalent to what a college degree is. But that's my own personal opinion.
Yeah, and today is gonna be a lot, it seems, of our personal opinion.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm not against college because I do feel like I was in the military and me going to basic training, I learned a lot about myself. That was a great stepping stone for me to really see what I was made of and see what my mama instilled in me and see what my mama taught me and who I am. I feel like college can have the same effect. When you go off to college, you're away from your parents, having to figure out how to get yourself to class, having to figure out how to manage your money, having to figure out how to mix and mingle and, make new friends or join clubs and learn how to network. I do feel like you can get a lot of life skills when you go to college and you do all the things that you're supposed to do and survive them because there are some things that come with college that your parents don't sign you up for because they really don't want you to get distracted, but it's a part of the atmosphere. So you have to learn those lessons too, right? I feel like all of that contributes. So it's not that I feel like the experience of college is not necessary because I feel like you definitely can come into your own, just having to be on your own. I just feel like, again, the end result, you do learn life skills, but when it comes to this piece of paper guaranteeing that you will be able to survive when you graduate, they can't guarantee that. So I think that it needs to stop being, what's the word? It needs to stop being presented as such, like the way that it's talked about, the way that we are groomed to think of college and getting a college degree is to think that it equates to security, just like a job, right? We think that by us getting a higher level of education, we're guaranteed to make a lot of money. And that's not the case. There are plenty of people that have multiple degrees today and they don't work in a field that they have a degree in. So I feel like why pitch it that way when unless you are a doctor or it's a specialized field, it doesn't really equate to that.
In her opinion.
Right. So what's your opinion?
And well, for me, I use all of my degrees still. Um, you pointed out in some episodes ago that I have 3 degrees. And for me, you have what? Oh yes.
I only have one.
We do both have degrees. Let's start there.
We both have degrees. I have one. She has 3.
And still I plan to get more if I need more. But
I don't plan to get more.
And it's okay. Either way is okay. But for me, I thrive on education. I thrive on learning. In the environment I grew up in, I'm grateful and thankful to God for college because I was exposed to so many things educationally that I didn't see in my undergrad or undergrad, that's not the right word, but that I didn't see in my primary years. You get that for biology, you might have that one frog or a pig, you dissect it, you learn super basics of physics, and if you fell by the wayside, eventually you didn't have any science classes.
Right.
And I didn't even I knew in elementary that I thrived on science, but with our life circumstances, my mom got sick, and my oldest sister, shout out to my oldest sister, became kind of that parent figure. And with her only being 22 months older than me, her trying to parent me to know how to pursue more education or pursue more science, that didn't occur to us. It did not occur to me when science got hard that I just needed a tutor. First of all, I think we were in survival mode for most of, if not all of our teenage years. We were in survival mode. And then when science became hard, my brain was like, oh, you can't get it. You don't understand it. You can't get it. And there was nobody there cheering us on or telling us that we could, or telling me, hey, looks like you're struggling, let's get a tutor. And excuse me, I'll not only not we didn't have the adults in our support system that said that, I didn't have any teachers that recognized that. So that, looking back, I wish there were people that would have been able to encourage me or see that there was a light. My hunger was inner, it was innate, and that I think it was from the Lord. Us. For me, it was always a hunger to know more, and to eventually get to do and get exposed to more, and to now understand science, and part in my master's is in cosmogony and in science. To see as an adult, wow, yes, this is still hard, but I just needed help. It broke my heart, but at the same time, it taught me some valuable lessons. Number one, education works for me, but taking my degrees, and as I was telling Miss G not too long ago, few minutes ago, I am developing a book based on what I learned in school. So it was no longer about just using a degree to get a good job, but now I understand that I can use my degree to forge my own path. I can make what I want the way I want it, and I can sell that product because, number one, I did get my degree, but number two, I didn't get it simply to go and be a cog in the machine for somebody else. I I get to develop my own thing. And the best part, I have a good support system. I briefly mentioned that we did not have that kind of support system growing up, being in survival mode. Um, Even now as a business owner, I'm in a team and I'm in a group where I was just telling you something that was passionate to me, and then you immediately jumped on it and said, this is what you can do with it. That's amazing. So for me, yes, degrees are important, but hopefully your eyes are open to so much more now that you don't just have to go and veer into one thing, or one company, or this, that, or the other. You can get the degree with your own business in mind.
Right.
Because
But
I haven't been taught that.
that's really what I guess my hang up with the training children to think that going to college is the answer, is gonna solve all your problems. It's not that, like I said, you can't learn because it's school. And so, like you just talked about, you thriving off of knowledge. I too thrive off of knowledge, but as we discussed, it looks different. It shows up different because we have different personalities. So when it comes to schooling, yes, I want to learn things and I want to be able to apply, but I would much rather learn through experience versus going to sit in a classroom at a desk and having to take tests. That's not my ministry. But for some people, They love that. There are people that are professional students, and by all means do that. But I think the concept of teaching someone that by going to college, they should aspire to work for someone versus teaching them, now that you've gotten these degrees, now that you have made it through college, now that you have, conquered this beast, so to speak, you should come out of it being your own boss. You should come out of it having the creative control, having full autonomy over how you use those degrees in the world versus having to be, what's the word? Having to be basically compressed into this box of, well, because you have a bachelor's degree, you only qualify for these jobs. And then the jobs that you qualify for, or those entry level positions that you qualify for, technically someone without a degree could do the job. But because of today's climate, people put the standard on the job of, you have to have a bachelor's degree to do this, when in reality, you don't. Even to be a business owner, you don't have to have a college degree. Now, can it, of course, come in handy? Absolutely. Because it can, networking wise, it can help you in a variety of ways, right? It can help you grow in so many areas. But I feel like that's not how it's conveyed. That's not how, a college degree is talked about. So I feel like there's just a misconception of you going to school for all these years and getting however many degrees and accruing however much debt. You went through all of that for you to go work for someone. I don't feel like that's fair. I feel like if you go through all of that and you do conquer that, by all means, that is something to be celebrated, because there are people that go to college, drop out. There are people that go to college and they try their hardest and it's just not for them. College is not for everybody. But I think you are doing people a disservice when you make them believe that once they get that degree, instead of them being a business owner and having full autonomy and being able to decide how they show up in the world or how they give back to the world with everything they've learned, you can only do that through working for someone else. I don't feel like that's right. So that's the main thing that I disagree with. It's not college per se. Everyone is different. So whatever floats your boat. If you love going to school, you love taking tests, if you love learning all the things that you can and being able to teach, other people or apply that in different areas, by all means do that. If you love having experiences and you prefer to learn that way and still choose to share those experiences and all the things you learn through those experiences with other people, do it that way. Whatever way works for you, do it that way. But I feel like at all times, you should be able to decide how you contribute that back into the world. And it should not be because someone pigeonholed you and told you that the only thing that you can do after this is go and work for somebody who, if they did go to college, they didn't get the grades that you got. If they did go to college, they dropped out of college. If they were to apply for the same job that you're applying for, they wouldn't qualify for it. But you're being told that you need to go work for them. That's what I don't agree with.
Yeah. Well, it brings up a good point, though, as you was talking, and it came to mind. These lessons, I think, are also a part of the environment that you're in, because I do believe that, like Ivy League schools and upper 1%, are training their kids and training students to be business owners and to be business, take over the family business, or train to teach you how to run your own business.
Right.
I love this very old show. It's not very old, but it is old. I think it came out in like 2000 or something. It's a mother-daughter. The mother was a teenager when she had the daughter, and then now the daughter got accepted into this Ivy League pre-college school.
Gilmore Girls?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say the name.
Sorry.
But,
you can cut that out.
They're in high school, and they have a high school project where they have to develop their own product. There are literal schools like that, but our community isn't often exposed to that, to where they are training you. Because we, again, how do I put this? Because for whatever reason, we're given a limited number of options. Just like when I was in high school and they said you can do this, it's this. And if that is, again, you're training and all you know is this, you have these options, choose one, graduate, and you don't see anything outside of that, that's all you're going to sometimes know. Thankfully, we have, I think the internet, in a sense, is a blessing because now you can be exposed to so much more if you have that tenacity. I thank God had the tenacity and was able to push through. But even now, it's things that we are not exposed to, but it's kind of they try to manipulate us, or we people try to manipulate us because they know these certain things, but we don't, and they just want to keep pushing us in one direction. I mean, even with things that are coming, and the state of America is a sensitive topic for me. Number one, I love my home country. I haven't lived in it in 7 years, but I love my home country. But to see what it is becoming, to see it look like it's being dismantled, it makes my heart so heavy because already we've been what's the word? Already we have been not hidden from so much, but so much has been hidden from us, and now it's
Yeah.
like constantly moving the needle.
Yeah. We've
and,
been
and we're constantly trying to catch up. And on the jump starts, when we jumped ahead, when we formed something, it's then either like formed great communities, thriving communities, businesses, dot, dot, dot. And then it comes along and people destroy it, or it comes along and you're taxed out of it, or, and then you're demonized as this community couldn't thrive. The community was thriving just fine, but you came in and destroyed the little progress we had made. It gets frustrating to me.
Right. Because I don't think you made a statement that the time that we have jumped ahead, basically we have been knocked back. I don't even think I would consider those times that we jumped ahead. I think it was times that we had to make the best of what we had, and because there were needs that we had that weren't being fulfilled, we figured out our own system. And then once we figured out our own system, we were penalized for it. You know what I mean? So I don't even look at it as, yes, it was progress, but I don't look at it as we jumped ahead because we were put through so much prior to, before we even got to that point. And then once we finally have fought tooth and nail to get to that point and to pull ourselves up, it's literally destroyed because other people cannot take that. Oh, they were able to dig themselves out of the hole that we put them in. And I didn't attest to that. I literally heard a woman say earlier today, I was watching some video, excuse me, on Instagram, and she said, hold on, because I took a screenshot. Let me find it. Because it was so good. Yeah. And when I heard it, it literally just like, it resonated so loud. And I was like, wow. She said, we're always going to be too loud when we were never meant to be heard in the first place. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is so good. So when you think about even pertaining to just like our rights, all the things that are now being reversed, right? Our ancestors worked so hard to get us these rights, worked so hard to move the needle forward. And now you have a person in position that is purposely undoing those things because just because he can, right? That's a prime example of why I say we didn't necessarily just jump ahead. People paid a very large price for us to have all the things that we have today. And then you have someone that can just come and just uproot that just because they feel like, oh, well, this don't really make sense no more. Or this doesn't benefit me. This doesn't affect my life. So I'm going to destroy this. And then to have people, kind of see it as, oh, well, your response to it is so, what's the word? Not negative, but it's people that almost feel like, well, you should be used to this, or you should just get over it because you can't control it. And it's like when she said we're always gonna be too loud because we were never meant to be heard, I feel like the things that we're going through right now, because there are so many people that feel like we didn't deserve to even get these rights. We didn't deserve, even though our ancestors fought so hard to get us to make all of this progress. There are still people today, i.e., the current president, that feel like we never deserved any of the things that we now have accomplished. And so because I feel like you don't deserve it, now I'm gonna make it my mission to take it from you. So when she said that, I'm like, that applies to so many things, but it just, again, it resonated, like internally, it resonated with me. And I was like, that's so good, because there's so many people that just don't see it from that perspective. And so even pertaining to college, right? There was a time where we were not allowed to openly educate ourselves. Like you legit were beaten or killed for that. So for the people that do want to exercise their right, by all means, I'm definitely not a person that's like against that. I just definitely feel like it needs to be beneficial for you. You need to make sure that you going to school, you getting this degree is something that you truly want, and not something that you just been conditioned to believe this is what you have to do. This is your only option. B, it needs to be something that once all is said and done, if you want to go work for someone else, do that. But is that really what you want? Because if that's not what you want, don't let somebody else convince you that's all you can do with that degree, because that's not true. You can go and create your own business. You can go and you can decide how you show up in the world and how you give back based on the things that you have learned and what you want to put into other people, what you want to help other people learn. You can decide that. Don't let somebody else determine that for you, just because that's what you're supposed to do.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, and just want to add to it. For me, like I said, education is part of my passion, and I thrive on it. And seeing that, first of all, so many of our ancestors fought and died for it. It was a privilege for us. For why it's supposed to be a privilege, I don't know, and it truly angers me.
Because we were never meant to have it, so we should be thankful that we did get it.
But and then now it's all these things are trying to be stripped, and what bothers me is the cover that they cloak it in. They cloak it in, oh, this is unfair to others. We're going to make it right for everyone. And I know some uneducated, not Black people that may genuinely feel like, oh, they just trying to make it right for everybody. Don't see that the cloak is, I'm going to take this off and say it's fair for everyone, but I know I'm knowingly making it harder for other communities of people to get this opportunity now that this has been removed. And then to try and paint us as uneducated, that really angers me, because I definitely have more education than the person that's running the country. And I mean, let's just be real.
She got more education than most people.
I'm not going to be that crazy, but I know I have more education than him. And it's clear that he didn't really work for it or earn it, because he went through great lengths to cover it up. Let me cover up all of my not greatness, and then let me demonize all of your greatness as if you don't deserve it, probably because I know inside I don't. So I'm just assuming that you don't. My take is, get your education, but find ways to start your business. If they burn down your building, do it online. If they try to run you out of town, make sure you have a support system. It's so imperative, because if we enter into a time, not me technically because I'm not there, but I don't know if I'll ever be back. But if we enter into a time where they,
I'm sorry, you said what?
I can't ever say, I never say never to anything. So
the first time we met, you told me that you would never.
Well, like,
so no, this is home now.
This is home. It is something that's on the table. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. but it is something that I have seriously considered. I just don't want to. I just
Listen,
don't.
you made that clear. You definitely
Yeah.
made
To everybody.
yeah.
But to say you can, with the way that things might go, having your own business, having your own something that they cannot take away from you, because number one, you can do business online. Your business might be great in Singapore, and Texas can't touch it.
Right.
And I say that because I'm from Texas. Your business might be huge in Mexico, and they can't touch it. Have something that is your own. Get your education. My education is in apologetics and cosmogony and social work and arts.
That's
But
but she got too many. She can't even remember what they in.
edit. The point is, I like I said, I can take what most people can't even pronounce or don't even know what it is, and I can develop something that is going to benefit a large community of people, and those who are interested can buy my product.
Right.
Nobody can take that away from me,
Right.
because I can do that in any country. I don't have to. We do not have to limit, and I'm not saying just me and Miss Gabrielle. I'm saying we as a community do not have to limit our view for just where we are.
Yeah.
And on that, I mean, I could go so much more deep, because this is a passion topic for me, and I feel a lot of anger, and I feel a lot of wanting to overshare and say you really can run your own business. But I'm gonna stop because our time is up, and I'm gonna kick it back to Miss Gabrielle. I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
And on that note, if you have enjoyed any of the things that we have discussed, found it even remotely insightful, helpful, or know someone that it could help, definitely like, comment, share, subscribe, come back and join us. We are changing lives all 2025, and we'll be here every Monday. Clearly, we are very passionate about the things that we talk about, but you are more than welcome to join the conversation. We welcome, other people's experiences, other people's perspective, as long as it's respectful. But definitely come join us. We look forward to interacting with you. If you have questions, you definitely leave a comment or send us an email. Our email is in the comment box.
It will be Black in Business.
Okay. It'll be in the comment. If you don't want to leave a comment, we will respond to your emails. And that's all we have for today. So we will see you lovely people next Monday. And see.